Honourable Shane Jones.
Kia ora no tātou. Sir, this has been a miserable start for Māori politics in Parliament in 2012. We've had the unedifying spectacle of the three members of the Māori Party who claim to bear the mantle of iwi scurrying from this House and refusing to face the music on the first day of 2012. Now, sir, it might come to pass that they'll use the excuse that they were opening schools, saving the language, finding the stars, launching rockets, but the reality, sir, is that they did nothing to save the education system that suffered grievously under Anne Tolley. And if there's one small thing that can be said about Hekia Parata, she's got every prospect of improving on the dismal record of her predecessor, but that's another matter. Sir, it's very difficult to take the Māori Party seriously when on one side they're saying to some iwi leaders, OK, we'll try and find an opportunity for you to buy into the shares in this sell-off, in this creation of a new economic caste of commercial mandarins within Māoridom. That's the first message they're giving. The second message, sir, they're giving is that they didn't know that the most signal element of Māori jurisprudence, Section 9, and the Lord Cook pronouncements of the late 80s, they didn't know about it, and they didn't realise it was so important it should have formed a key part of their negotiations as they scurried back to the leather seats of the chauffeur-driven cars in order to prop up this government. So, sir, that was the second thing. The third thing, sir, was that they've then turned around and quietly mentioned to a number of our leaders, we can't actually do much. Can you take the issue to court? We can't actually do much. Now, sir, there are members in this House who never particularly got on with those four tōtara trees, Sir Tipene Regan, Maturata, Sir Graham Latimer and Sir Bob Mahut. I'll put my hand up for having the odd stouse with he of Irish extraction in the South. But I'll tell you what, sir, those tōtara trees were a massive contrast, sir, to these weak, timid, sir, and ill-grown pieces of scrub we see representing our people in the Māori Party. If they have any integrity, sir, about the treaty...
Order. Now, all members are honourable members, and the member is actually making some assertions which could be interpreted as bringing disorder. And I just caution the member to just reflect on his language. Honourable Shane Jones.
Sir, I was just showing my botanical prowess. And coming from the north, sir, we know that tūmatakuru and gorse actually doesn't generate wealth. And there's very few tōtara trees, and they're in slim... They are in modest supply here in the House. Not to mention anything about the sort of bulky pūriri or kauri or rumu trees on this side of the House, but that's another matter. Sir, your admonition is taken on board. But I want to come back to the Māori Party. Sir, this is the party that... Part of the reason why they were away yesterday is their members are negotiating with Hone Harawa, who has announced the formation of a new entity, Manamara. And so just as John Key watched the unedifying spectacle of Don Brash trying to take over the ACT Party, I fear that what we're going to see, sir, is a collision between Hone Harawira and the Māori Party before the Māori Party members, as a consequence, sir, of betraying the people that sent them here on this issue of SOE sales. Because you can't say, sir, that we don't agree with the SOE sales, but we expect to be a part of the government that's going to gorge at the trough as a consequence of the proceeds that will come from this foul policy. So you can't have it both ways. Now, it could be, sir, that a number of Māori whānau do look for some sort of remedy in whānau order. But, sir, you can't say that I'm entitled to run a whānau order program beyond the purview or scrutiny of this House. That's not how the system works. And so there have been a number of criticisms that perhaps a number of the Māori on this side of the House have been a tad too mute. Well, so we're now into a competitive struggle because with the arrival, sir, of the hammerhead shark from Ngāti Wai, obviously there's a big act to follow in that regard. But, sir, the man has laid down a kaupapa. If you are going to drive Māori development outcomes and you're going to rely on the budgetary allocation of money on a year-by-year basis, unfortunately, sir, these sorts of challenges will come to pass. Now, sir, when Dr. Cullen originally made those sorts of invitations for an explanation Tari Ana Turi in 2009, she was protected. But this time, sir, there's no protection. So, if we're going to run with these various policies, and elements of whānau order have found some support on our side of the House. But, sir, once those challenges are made, you can't scurry from this place and not respond to them. So I want to talk a little bit about Te Puni Kōkiri. Now, Te Puni Kōkiri is a modest-sized organisation. It actually held a very important role with the ability to arotake, to audit, or to check on what other government departments were doing in the pursuit of Māori outcomes. I think it's very disappointing, sir, that the regional managers are telling members of this House that they didn't know that they were about to be either extinct or liquidated prior to the arrival of the information into the media. That's the first thing. And the second thing, sir, what is to happen with the functions, and a lot of them are very valuable functions, sir, currently located in that institution as they are dissipated through other parts of the state. When those other organs in the state themselves, sir, will identify their Māori programs as probably some of the first programs that need to be shelved as they struggle to deal with the costs of running their department under, sir, this very odious approach that Bill English is taking. So that is very bad news, sir, for a number of the people working in that particular area. And it's an invitation for Dr. Sharples, who in certain aspects of Te Ao Māori is a peerless leader. But on this question, sir, it is not right for you to put Leith Comer up to face the political music. He is a paid civil servant. I don't remember Tau Henare putting up Ngāta Te Lau, although he had considerable bulk that Tau could have hidden behind had he chosen that course of action. I don't remember, sir, Luxton or those ministers hiding behind Woodard Gardner. No, sir. And I certainly don't recall Parekura Horomia inviting anyone to stand in front of him so he could hide. Unfortunately, sir, a physical impossibility, but that's an item of affection, sir. But the key point, sir, is when Leith Comer has to front and suffer, sir, derogatory language from Honehara, which unfortunately is his political dialect, and calling him a variety of names. The target was Dr. Sharples. The target was Parian. And now, sir, let us talk a little bit about this constitutional review. At a time where Māori boys are not being well trained, far too many going to jail, those who have got some money from the whānau are going to Australia, sir, and not finding jobs, the focus of this man's talk is the constitutional review. Now, sir, I don't want to deprecate the importance of language, etc., but if you want language to survive, use it at the kitchen table. If you want language to survive, use it as an ordinary part of daily life. Don't use those projects, sir, to obfuscate the fact that very little, if anything, is happening to deal with the real tragedy facing our whānau, facing New Zealand, is far too many brown young men are ending up with a poor set of skills which are sending them only one way, to ngā whā, and that's not for a hot bath. That is into hot water which scars them for the rest of their life. So let's hear some plans, let's hear some commitment from our friends in the Māori Party to deal with that particular issue. Now, sir, it might be said that you don't raise these issues because you can end up being either negative or diminishing the status of Māori. Sir, the diminution is taking place, and this diversion into a debate about the treaties, the section of the treaty overlooks the fact, to our colleagues from the Māori Party, if there's no privatisation, the issue does not arise. And find the courage and find the technique to stop the privatisation. The economic rationale has been laid out, much to my disappointment, by the co-leader of the Greens, but that's another matter. The economic rationale has been laid out that there is no upside to the overarching structure of the Crown's statements for the sale of these assets. So, sir, we do know, in the event that these assets do get sold, as we learned, sir, on the Finance and Expenditures Committee, it actually took the Audit Department to use an enormous amount of power to get Air New Zealand to come in front before that particular committee. Once the 49% transfers to a host of Kiwi and possible foreign owners, rest assured, sir, control and influence will lie there, and it is only one small step further along that inexorable slope, sir, full privatisation. So there's an opportunity from our colleagues, he's no doubt gone back to Kawerau, which actually means to carry too many things at once. So that actually reflects the fact that this is an opportunity to have this policy stop, and the key people who can prevent that sit over there. Now, so they won't do that because they mistakenly believe that there's a host of social concessions and a host of other cultural opportunities. But I say, sir, that the real opportunity which is being overlooked is to grow the human capital. And you can have 1 million treaty reviews, you can have 1 million constitutional reviews, because you can't change the Constitution via fiat. You have to actually enable it to come as a consequence of organic change and people being willing to focus on it because their other needs have been addressed. And sir, like that famous Ngāpuhi saying goes, pluck the tender shoot of the flax bush, and where will the bell call? It will say, from the coast to the land, the greatest gift of all is people, is people. It's time for the Māori Party to remember people. Kia ora tātou.
Honourable Tau Henare.
Speaker, can I